Good morning, Crystal from the Rain Dance Ranch. We're doing a Wednesday walkabout in the back of the ranch today. So, I am going to be harvesting this crookneck squash very soon. And we've got more coming on that I'm probably going to thin. This little guy, I don't know if he's going to be going anywhere. Let's see if we can get a good look at him. He's not quite looking right, but we shall see. There's another one over here. That one probably should be pulled so the plant can put energy into growing these new bad boys. And I don't know of any freezes coming in the interim. And I'm wondering what's eating these things. It could be the aphids. Do the aphids actually make the holes? Or could it be something else? Okay, oh, this is a broccoli leaf. I guess I should probably just take that off. Things are looking a little dry in there. I didn't water yet this morning. I watered yesterday. So these are still pretty much needing water every day, and I don't know if withholding water for one day and watering every other day is good for these particular plants, because I've read about some plants, like when they get to the fruiting stage, you withhold watering, but I don't remember which ones. Got some more zucchini coming. I need to still harvest the seeds from that big zucchini, and this one, I'm gonna harvest it, cut it open, and see if it tastes any good. But yeah, the other zucchinis that were growing on here while I had that big, huge one that was growing at the same time, and they just kept staying small. And I think that big one was just taking all of the energy. But we've got new ones coming up. So there they are. And this one, maybe next week. From what I understand, it's actually good to get them while they're kind of small still. I'm not that small, but something like about this size. But I don't know how good that one's going to be. But you don't know until you try. And so these guys down here aren't getting any sun. They're not really taking off. But they're doing about the same as the other ones that are getting more sun. So whenever this plant eventually expires and gets taken out, hopefully those could still do something. Or I don't know, if they got a little longer, I could get them growing up my little teepee construction here. I wasn't expecting this plant to take over so much, so next year I'm just gonna do one zucchini per bin, and then if these are still alive when this passes away and these are still able to take off, then I'll do that again, but I don't know. And then I still haven't put my tomatoes up. This one I think is ready to get attached. I've been meaning to come out and do it. All right, let's see. Sorry, it's hard to film. So this guy's getting big. I do know people who, yeah, and it's looking like it needs, really, I'm gonna have to come out and water. I mean, it's not too bad, but I can tell that that tomato particularly, and when the leaves start looking like this, because they normally are nice and firm like these when they're properly watered. Well, let me go back over here. So I really like having like those peas and these parsleys growing in the understory here. I mean, I can't believe how good the parsley is doing. So I really want to if I'm going to be doing like one tomato, although actually I think these, you could do 2 tomatoes pretty easily in these. But let's go back to this. If I do 1 zucchini and maybe on one side I have peas and the other side I have parsley, and I could do zucchini, 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 peas, 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 parsley, 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 or something like that. That would be really cool, because then I can really maximize these. But I don't know how those peas are gonna do. I mean, the parsley is actually faring very well, but I think they are getting a little more sun than what they would get if they were planted under the zucchini. But that's what I'm gonna try for in the future, based on what I see going on here. Now, this broccoli, I absolutely love this foliage, and still I'm not seeing anything happening down there. Maybe. Looks like there's a couple of leaves coming up. I ordered some broccoli that makes florets. I cannot remember the name of it. Got it from M.I. Gardner. And I think as much as I will grow a head or 2 of broccoli in the future. I really like the idea of the kind that just keep making like the florets and there's no head. Just because, to tell you the truth, when I make broccoli, I really only eat, like 6 florets would be great for me for like 1 meal. Although the heads are really nice if you're making a big meal for a lot of people, or you want to add it to like a lasagna or something, which I love to add broccoli to lasagna. I love broccoli in lasagna. It's probably my favorite way to eat broccoli. But look at, my tomato is doing what I wanted. Except for I wanted that on the other side. That's okay. I love how it's hanging down. Super happy. And I don't remember which tomato this is. Did I mark it? Okay, that was calendula. I could have sworn I left a marker for which tomato was what. But alas, I didn't. I don't know what my problem is. So the basil over here is all in bloom, and it does look pretty, doesn't it? I need to come out and cut that. And this is not hanging over, and I think the reason, when I put these in and I made a video about it, well, this one's kind of hanging, but it's coming up because it wants the sun, and the sun is over, that comes in this way in the afternoon. So this is not a good side to put tomatoes on and hope that they hang over. You have to have them on this side of the bin. So whatever my bin is that's on the westernmost end is the one where I'm gonna have the hanging tomatoes. So yeah, but I really like that, and I think that this whole idea of having tomatoes hanging out of your planter is a really great way to maximize your bins, or any kind of raised planter like what I've got here. And yesterday I came and harvested all of these. And then, like I said, I need to trim these back, and maybe, hopefully next week they'll still be good. I'm going to be watching the weather. If it looks like we're going to have a freeze, or it's going to get close to, down in the 30s. We've been in the 40s. We're usually, most of the time, at night, and they seem to be doing just fine with that. So, but if we start getting down in the 30s or the low, it says 35, I'll be like, maybe I better cover, and I will come out and harvest these. I can't believe I didn't mark my tomato plants. I thought I did. Maybe I made a video and talked about it. So yeah, so this is not looking real amazing right now. I threw in some seeds. I think these are beets. I think I just scattered in beets in a bunch of different places. I might come and put a couple more beets in here. See if I can get those to grow. It looks like we've got a couple of tomato volunteers here. Probably gonna just pull those. Although maybe we could use this one. So everything looks pretty good actually, just kind of sparse. That's okay. Needs a little water. Gotta get those trimmed. Now over here, I made a video about this. This is, I was up potting stuff and what else was I doing? Well, whatever, I was making pots. And I had a bunch of soil. I had, not a bunch, I had like the last little bit of soil in a big bag. And so I thought, well, maybe and I had some other pots that were like from over the summer and they'd just kind of been sitting around and the plants died. And I thought, well, I'll just throw all that used soil and the remnants of what was in the bag into a mix that will be what I'm calling an instant Terra Preta pot. And so and plus I want to test out my supercharger product, which is crushed charcoal that is mixed with minerals and bat guano and other things. And what you do with it is you put it in compost to charge it up. Well, my compost bin is pretty much filled up and I'm just letting it cook right now. I put plain charcoal in it with like some blood meal and bat guano and all kinds of rotting kitchen scraps and purslane leaves and all kinds of stuff right on top of the charcoal. And it was layered on top, sort of in like a lasagna layer on top of some compost that was probably ready to be harvested already, but not quite. There was still some stuff in there that I would have, recycled back into my new compost. So there's good compost in there down at the bottom. Then I put the layer charcoal with all this other green nitrogen stuff, and then I put I think I put like some more old soil in and other browns, and then I topped it off with wood chips. And I've been trying to keep it damp, but I'm not turning it or anything. I'm doing the slow boat to China method. So I thought, well, why don't I do that in pots? And so I had this pot sitting there, and I was like, well, I should save this for something. And I'm like, well, let's try this. So I kind of did that in here. So I've got wood chips, charcoal, and all the good stuff that's going in my product, and supercharger, and kitchen stuff, and cuttings and leaves from the garden, and that soil, and then I topped it off with these, and then I poured in a bunch of leaves that was sitting in water for a couple weeks. So it was kind of like a compost tea, hopefully. And then I even put the leaves that were in that compost tea in here. So I'm gonna just let this sit for 3 months, even though it's chilly. So that'll be December, January, February. So right, by March, this might be composted down enough to plant something in, and the charcoal will be charged enough to where it's not going to deter from the growth of whatever plant I put in here. So I'm just going to plant directly in here and see what happens. These leaves that are on top, I just cut them like yesterday when I harvested the basil, and I cut a few things off and just kind of set them there for now because I prepared these big containers, nursery containers, like tree containers or large shrub containers or whatever, large cactus. Because I'm gonna do that with these, but I'm gonna do it like a slow, like a compost bin that you add to slowly. Because the other thing is that I want to buy another compost bin, but they're like $30, the ones that I like, and that would be great, and it's worth every penny. But I've got a million things to spend $30 on. And why do that when I have a grip ton of these? I probably have like 30 of these, maybe 25, maybe 35, I don't know. But I got a lot of these that were given to me for free, and I am going to use these to compost in. And so then I can use these to actually plant in. There's many things you could do, but I can leave a lot of that compost in here, mix in some regular soil, get it all mixed in. I mean, there's so many ways to do it, but I can plant right in here where I made the compost. And actually, that's what I really want to experiment with, is not even moving the soil, just using the soil the compost, and I want to use that as soil. So I may have to add some other things, like maybe some more vermiculite. And some peat moss or cocoa coir. But I want to keep them here so that as I get cuttings, I can just throw them in here. And then when I have compost materials from other parts of the yard or my kitchen, I can just start putting them in here, in these pots as well. And then I will just keep a layer of wood chips on top of them. And I will move the wood chips out of the way when sorry, I'm taking off my sweater because it's kind of hot. I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, let's just say. But I'm really stoked about this, because how much easier is it to just have these big bins or containers and get your soil going. And I'm gonna use my supercharger product in these. And yeah, they're probably not gonna be ready until fall, but that's okay. Because in the fall is the real Mac Daddy Kabloom season, and it'll be nice if I can get like maybe 5 or 6 of these at least, because I don't have a big garden. If you had a bigger garden, you can make a lot more. So you make them during your winter season, and then you let them, or during your, here in Phoenix, the winter season, you can, when you're doing most of your growing, you get them all filled up, let them simmer over the summer when it's super hot out, and you don't have to worry about, are they getting hot? You know, so, and then in the fall, they'll be ready to rock and roll. I love it. It's just so much easier. And I have them, and they're free. And I'm like, because I'm like, I really want to start making a lot more compost. Because I want to be self-sufficient. I want to be able to make soil without having to go buy. I don't want to have to buy soil. I want to make my own soil. And when you're using pots, you need to use, not vermiculite, although I will probably add some. Well, you need either cocoa coir or the peat moss is particularly helpful for soil that you use in containers. And what are those? I mean, you could use gypsum, that other stuff, perlite. throw a bunch of perlite in there. And then, okay, I will be stocking up on some potting soil, but I can only buy so much soil anytime soon. But I'm going to try to get as much as I can, but then I can use like maybe a quarter of a bag in with all the other stuff I have. Or I can get the regular garden soil, which is like $1.50 cheaper than potting soil, to mix in here, and then stock up on peat moss or coco coir. I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I am going to be buying the fine, I think it's fine peat moss and vermiculite to make seed starting soil. So I'm thinking the best thing to do would be to really stock up on those two things. And then if I can use compost mixed with that stuff, I can have soil. And I don't have to buy like a million different products. I don't have to buy a bunch of potting soil as I move forward in time and make new planters. Anyways, just new things going on. Okay, and then also, I mean, I do have containers to put on here, but I thought instead of spending $14 a pop on new containers, I might use, and then when I get these filled up with my compost and I want to use them to plant in, I still need to raise them up unless I know for sure the bunnies won't eat whatever I grow in them, which I still need to figure out all the stuff the bunnies won't eat. I'm going to need to raise them up. So I just did this to kind of see how this could work. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure, I haven't tried it yet, but I think I could do, two. I should have done this. I didn't spend much time on it. I just put it together. I'm like, okay, well. And then later I was like, let me put, if I use 4 boards, then using only 4 of these blocks, I could have 6 of these going. I could grow tomatoes in there, peppers, all kinds of things. Whatever you want. You can grow anything in those. They're nice and deep. I think they're plenty big. So that actually makes me super happy because I really don't want to have to buy a bunch more bins. Although I do want to because I do like them. I just don't know when I'm really going to be able to do it because I've got other things I want to spend my money on. So let's see, my pot here. Why is that? Oh, it's just, this doesn't look real. No, that's looking good. Okay, this just isn't really looking amazing or anything. I'm a little disappointed. I bought this guy. I have no idea if he's gonna come back or what's gonna happen. But we're just gonna let it ride and see what happens. That's what this pot is. All these pots right now, that's what they are. These are my duds. But this guy's looking real great. I planted peas in here. If you haven't seen any of my old videos, I always say that. But he's looking real good. I mean, how pretty will this be? But in March, I expect this thing to just look fabulous. And these peas all twirling around up here, and these flowers just kind of spilling out here. I think it's gonna be real good. But unfortunately, I was hoping it would look better by now, but it's okay. Jay's is looking real great. I made a whole video about this. I think I'm going to just go to the store and buy some ready to go alyssum or go to Whitfield and stick that in here. And I may put these in my garden. I just want him to have something really beautiful. So the pentas are looking good. They're not fabulous or anything, but they will continue to look better. I'll just let that ride. But these look great. I just love this part. Look at how great that looks. So, okay, that's enough. So I could talk more and more about the back of the ranch, but this is the Wednesday walkabout at the back of the ranch. Thanks for watching.